And welcome to Full Hat, live from the WiseWolf Gold and Silver Studios. Just go to samtripoli.gold, use the promo code TINFOIL, and you too can get in on the Precious Metals game for as little as $50 a month. Precious Metals sent right to your house. Blessings. I hope this podcast finds you in good places. Very excited for today's show. We have a returning champion. He's been on the show many times. His podcast is called Raised by Giants. Please welcome Ryder Lee. How are you, brother?
How's it going, Sam? Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
You look great, buddy. You look great. Have you just started shaving your head?
I shave it every once in a while, about every 3 months when it grows out to the point that I can no longer control it, and then I shave it.
I think your head looks great for shaving, dude. I just wanted you to know that. As a guy who wants to shave his head, but his girlfriend won't let him, I appreciate a nice bald head.
Your girl I like to shave.
She won't. She's like, no, you can't shave. I'm like, why can't you tell me what I can and cannot do?
You've shaved it before, though, right? You don't have like a weird, odd-shaped
No,
head?
I do think I have some weird kind of I am from France cone head.
My sister with her nephew, they just all started shaving his head from the jump. So it's just like he never has to worry about haircuts again. That's just the lazy
No, I
thing.
get it,
but
dude.
they just do it. So they don't have to take his haircut.
the kid's got a good skull. Ryder, thanks for coming back. Very excited. We hear you have a new doc coming out. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where our listeners can find you, and about your doc coming out.
Yes, I have a new documentary called Psychic Agent, the GATE program, hoping to be released by August 1st. If it's not out by the time this show goes live, then keep checking Amazon Prime for it. That is Psychic Agent, the GATE program, and you can find me on YouTube and any and all podcast platforms at Raised by Giants, and any social media at Raised by Giants as well. And really what got me into researching into this is because a lot of people remember the GATE program. You know, millions of kids have been through this school testing program since the 60s, when education, became funded by the government because we were heavily lacking in scientists and astronauts and engineers, and we needed to keep up with Russia. That was the excuse, right? Everything is about Russia. Russia is literally the excuse for doing anything after World War II. If the Russians are doing it, then we got to do it too, right? And that's still kind of persists up into this very day, because Russia actually on paper got more Nazis and, Nazi scientists and engineers after World War II than the United States did. They put them all on a train and brought them into Russia after the war. And that was the Russian version of Project Paperclip, which Russia got 6,000 Nazi engineers and scientists, including their family members, entered into Russia after World War II. This is why I feel Russia and the United States has kind of always been at odds with each other, right? It's kind of been our Nazis versus their Nazis in a roundabout way. Our Nazis have been essentially at war with Russia's Nazis, which is a very interesting way to look at it. But from history, that's what I believe is going on. So when Russia beat us into space with the launching of the Sputnik, this really freaked out the Eisenhower administration, and they realized that the best way to get people recruited into the military and into the intelligence agencies and high positions of power within corporations and leaders of communities, including, inventors and outside of the box thinkers, is if they can control them right out of the gate. That's why it's called the GATE program, right?
Yeah,
Because
through basically the Germans were like the leaders in MK Ultra too. So they were like learning how to manipulate minds and stuff, and then they brought them all over. And so there's this big movement right now on the internet to kind of like patronize. What's the word? Sanctify, maybe? Is that the word I'm looking for? To Richard Nixon right now.
Yeah,
Have you seen this?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you go back to this 60 Minutes video that they did on Loftus, this lawyer named Loftus, he basically looked at the CIA documents, which said that Hitler was part of a committee to bring all the Nazis over. Him, Eisenhower, and a Rockefeller. They were the ones who basically did project.
Hitler was?
Yeah, Nixon.
Oh, gotcha.
Did I say Hitler?
I thought maybe I misunderstood.
No, but it's like he was a big part of that. Like this revisionist history is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and you hear it. I don't. It's like somebody flipped a switch.
Nixon was a saint. He was a patriot. You're like he brought over all the Nazis.
Yeah. If it happened today, nobody would care.
Yeah, right. He's totally that's true though, dude. It's
Absolutely,
crazy.
It is. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nuts what's going on in this country right now. But yeah, so all that stuff is like, yeah, you're totally right. It's just all Nazi science. Just figuring out who the psychics are and grabbing them.
Exactly, and the best people to do that with is children, right? Because children are the future. So if we can control the children, then we can control the future. And if anyone ever goes too far, it won't really matter because they'll be working for the government, right? This is the main reason why nothing really changes in our reality, right? Because anyone that can actually make a difference in our reality is working for the government and their projects. And the people that kind of slip through the cracks that somehow might invent something that would revolutionize the way we operate as a society, their patents are buried under the National Security Act. And no one will ever find out about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're killed, assassinated, and murdered, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of that commercial that we used to run forever. Do you have an invention?
Oh, yeah.
Send us your patent.
Yeah.
You're like, yo.
We'll totally not steal that shit.
Yeah, that makes as much sense as send us your gold. You remember when they were convincing us to put our gold in an envelope, send it to them, and then they would send us money?
Yes, cash for gold.
Yeah.
It's huge.
What I mean, it's the
Are they still around? Like, can you, if you wanted
I'm
to,
sure.
if you wanted to get scammed, can you get scammed?
yeah, of course you can get scammed if you want to get scammed.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, they were paying you. I'm sure it was just a cut rate, for.
So you send them your gold, then you find out how much they're going to give you. I mean, does that make any fucking sense
Of
at
course,
all?
that's how it is. Yeah.
Or they were chains of purity of it?
Yes, yeah, that's what you send it to them. They test the purity and see, what kind of gold it is, and then you get back a quote, which I'm sure you can either reject or accept, and then they mail it back to you, presumably.
Yeah, I'm sure they mail it back to you.
Yeah. I mean,
good luck getting that gold back.
Yeah. Well, at that point, you've gone through so much hassle; it's like sunken cost.
Just send me the money. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just go to a pawn shop in your area? It just makes no fucking sense.
Yeah,
it's great. Anyways,
it is the same thing. Yeah.
Johnny was in the Gates program. Johnny,
really, you were Johnny?
Yeah, I have memories of all that shit. Like weird cards and stuff. I remember them taking us in it was like a fun. They took us to a different place to do it because I'm from a very rural area, and one time they made a big thing of like picking us up in like a limousine. I remember like making it cool, but it was just a bunch of weird testing. It was, isn't that? We went to McDonald's. Like it was.
They were hooking you up, bro.
Yeah, it was. But I don't.
Did their energy change when they realized you weren't psychic, Johnny? They're like, oh,
well, I don't.
You're just a normie. Get back in the bus.
I don't think you know what it's for. I mean, I didn't.
So,
it was weird.
Yeah. So the Nazis. We divvy up the Nazi in some Nazi draft. There's part of me also, Ryder, that thinks that
Nazi drafted
at selecting first round pick 34, Yuri Yakovich, that there's a part of me that thinks that the Nazis weren't actually even brought over. They just came over. Because isn't it weird that none of them changed their names? Like if you're a really evil Nazi that the world hates, we hate you. You don't change your name at all.
I think the scientists all thought that they were, and Ryder, obviously, please answer. But I mean, I feel like the scientists thought that they weren't part of the military. So why would you have a beef with us, right? You know what I mean? Like, because we were most of their excuses after were we had no choice to become Nazis because that was the national party, the ruling party in our country. So why would they? And I mean, it worked out for them. You can't really blame them, right?
I mean, they didn't even hide their names, dude. Like Von Braun is like, "What up, Alabama?" Going to Alabama football games, and
they loved him, dude. People loved. You forget, kids loved
Von Braun.
Yeah.
Von Braun was fun with the whole family, dude. Over there, play games with your kids.
Yeah.
You know,
The kids love space.
Those model rockets, man.
Yeah.
Big hit.
well, it's also that, you know, it's like when in Huntsville, I've said this before on the show, but, you know, it was seen as you were not allowed to talk about him being a Nazi in Huntsville up until like the 80s.
That's great.
Isn't that crazy?
In America.
Because they felt like he had no choice. It's not his fault. So they were just like, be nice to our Nazi. He was one of the good ones. Isn't that crazy, dude? Anyways, back to what you were talking about. I feel like I derailed that whole thing, but
No, that's very true. And then Von Braun is just hanging people in
Yes.
Germany, and then he comes over, and then he's just automatically a really nice guy, and everyone loves him. It's really
crazy,
unbelievable.
dude.
No, and catering to him. Like literally, people listened to him after he came back. It's not like he was just like, okay, let's just leave him alone. No, people had to listen to him, and he was their leader, their boss.
Yeah,
He was good at rockets. I mean, I have to say, you know, he was
Yeah.
the best rocket guy.
So we bring all over these Nazis.
Yeah, we bring over the Nazis, and when the government got involved with the public education system, they started identifying gifted and talented individuals, right? And I kind of set out to, you know, prove this in the documentary and what they may actually be doing, because this became a really popular topic within the past 2 years. Everyone is talking about the GATE program. It's blowing up on TikTok. It's, kind of like a viral thing because people are having really fuzzy memories about it. They think that other things were happening other than what they were telling them that was happening. And, there are things that people remember that are way stranger than just a different form of education, right? It's like being forced to take strange substances like the pink drink that everyone talks about, right? Playing with blocks, strings, what people describe as 3D glasses, being forced to wear 3D glasses, and which that is very real. It's actually called the Ganzfeld experiment, and it's to induce hallucinations and activate psychic abilities. And you can do this yourself. You just cut a ping pong ball in half. You tape them to your eyeballs. You take a bright red light and shine it on your face. And everyone that's done this for a long period of time has experienced something. The guy, Dean Radin, that was just on Joe Rogan a couple of weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, was involved with this Ganzfeld experiment. And Dean Radin also in that same interview talked about psychic children and how they're normally more psychic than regular people. Johnny, you were just talking about, you said something about the flashcards, right? You remember?
Yeah, I have a memory of that. And then when we would, often we would just play chess and those kinds of things. But I remember a few times we went to another place, that some kind of strange office or something. I don't know. It's very. My memories are not vivid.
Was it the hearing test thing?
I remember the hearing test too, but I think that was, I don't recall that being related somehow. The drink thing, yeah, that rings a bell. The pink drink thing, but I remember it was weird because it was like, especially with the testing stuff, it would like they'd pair you off with like one person, one adult, which at that age, it's kind of odd. But yeah, I don't remember it being anything too.
Johnny,
insane.
do you remember how they picked you? Like, was there a test you took? Or?
I think it was just based on achievement in school originally, and then you would take like whatever the standard IQ
standardized
test was.
testing.
Yeah, well, the IQ test for the time I think was like Stanford Binet or something like that, and then.
It was a big thing, though. I remember other parents bragging that their kids got in it. I remember one of my mom's friends was like, "My kid got in it." My mom's just like, "Why didn't you get in it?" And I'm like, "I can barely read." But it was a bragging thing, at least in the community, because you brag that your kid's smart. Be like, "Oh, look, my kid got into GATE," and then they would get moved into a whole different school.
Yeah, I went to a different school.
Yeah.
Like
After that, you went to a different
for middle school. Yeah, they had. It's funny, and it was.
Would you go to Hogwarts?
No, it was in the middle so it was, they just cut out half of the school that was in the middle of the ghetto to be just a bunch of nerdy white kids. Like, and so that was middle school for me, was at this, but it was, I guess they thought like bringing all these white kids into the ghetto would help the ghetto kid somehow. I think that must have been the thinking. But so we had to drive all the way from the other side of town to the middle of fucking ghetto, like really the most dangerous area in my town to go to school. And then
so Ryder, have you done any research into what actually the pink drink was?
I personally believe that it was some kind of drug. It was some kind of drug, some hallucinogenic drug that was given to children, and then they had to go into this room and put on headphones, which I believe that the headphones were the Monroe Institute gateway tapes.
Dude,
and the gateway tapes are to induce an out-of-body experience. So you are drugged, and then you have these headphones on, and then you exit your body. And then that is what unlocks the psychic abilities. Several people have, said that out-of-body experiences unlock the psychic abilities within your mind. So they're not only looking for children that may have the ability to be psychic, not that they are already psychic. It's if they can get outside of their body and then become psychic, right? And Johnny, you are correct with the flashcards. Those are very real. They're called the Zener cards, and they were created by psychologist Carl Zener along with Dr. J.B. Rhine out of Duke University in the 30s, where they would do psychic experiments with flashcards on indigenous school children in Canada and children within the United States. And that's what I 100% believe was happening, and that they were not only trying to see if children are psychic, but they're trying to create psychics.
That's crazy. And I'm psychic for free.
I will say it is. I wonder if some people are conflating that pink drink, because I know if you're from the rural South and you grew up on a well at schools, they would give you a fluoride drink that was pink that you had to. It was tasted like bubble gum that you'd have to swish and spit. Because
you weren't getting any of the fluoride.
Any of the fluoride, from the ground, and I had to do that. I recall.
Johnny!
But that was in a different setting. They would make you do that.
That makes sense where you were from, but they did that. You got the pink drink in L.A. and like every state that had the GATE program. So fluoride.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Yeah, but what I'm saying, I think I suspect some people are conflating those two, because I remember that too. In these little Dixie cups, you'd get this pink. That
is so crazy. With all that we know about fluoride right now.
Oh yeah.
They're like, okay, they're getting too good of water. Let's just.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And it
was a hot. You don't swallow it to be.
You just swish it around.
Yeah, to harden your teeth was the idea, I think.
Yeah, but how many kids did swallow it?
Yeah, but that's not even the point. The point
why
is,
make it taste like bubblegum if you're not supposed to swallow it? That's a good point.
And it's just like we know what that's wrong with it. Fluoride now.
Yeah.
Like when my daughter goes to the dentist, and here's the thing about these doctors is like they really have like good intentions. They just don't realize what they're pushing. So we go to the dentist. This dentist works with autistic kids, and she's like, would they like their fluoride, not shots, but like mouthwash right now? And you're like, no, we're good. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But isn't it crazy? And then, you go to a pediatrician, you try to ask them why kids get Hep B shots, and they don't know why.
Just glaze over, right? Like, boo.
Well, I don't know. It's like, but they think it's good.
Because they were told they're brainwashed, dude. Yeah, I mean, they went to school for 7 or 8 years to get brainwashed. It's good brainwashing.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But
well, the thing is that people have been told different things for different reasons as to why they need to take the substance. Many people I've talked to have said that it was vitamins that they thought that they were having to take. Other people have said that they were told that it was something for asthma. Walter Bosley, which is in the documentary, says that he believed it was for asthma that he had to take this drink and take this substance. Other people were told in Florida that it was a liquid vaccination.
Oh, that's great.
I'll
take a liquid vaccination next time. Thank you.
Yeah, don't give me that.
I'll take zero vaccination.
No, but I mean, instead of getting a shot as a kid, if that was a thing, a liquid vaccination, wouldn't you take that every time?
Literally, dude, I just went to a doctor just to get some more blood work done. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, yeah, do you have these vax? You have this vax? Do you have this? And he listed off like 4 vax I thought I needed to get. And then while simultaneously telling me TRT isn't good for me.
Well, what if you said I do have them without really having them?
I did.
What do you know? Would it be like, oh, yeah,
no,
it looks
I
like
just
on
told him, yeah, I got that.
Yeah, it looks like on the chart. Yeah, they don't know.
I'm on prep, whatever.
Yeah,
just leave me alone.
Let's not go crazy, Johnny. So let's get, because I want to get into the spying part because I think this is very important. I mean, everything is a magic trick, in my opinion. We're dealing with like spiritual warfare and stuff like that. So let's say little Johnny goes and Johnny tests out of this world. Like he's the one they're looking for. Do you know what the process would be after that if he was seen as somebody they wanted to he's the guy they're looking for?
Well, I think that there's 2 different versions of this. There's the psychic ability version, and there's going to be more information that's going to come out about this in the future, that these children are being trained to literally control and pilot UFOs with their mind. Okay, that might sound crazy, that might sound really out there, but that's going to come out in the future. That's already been a thing. They've already talked about how psychics have been in control of UFOs or UAPs, remotely controlling them with their mind. It's a very real thing. But it's going to come out that some of these people that were trained, some of the children that were trained in the GATE program, that they were trained to remotely control UFOs with their mind. But that's a different subject. I think that a lot of this has to do with recruitment. Okay? So you go in, you test really high, they then recruit you, they then shepherd and herd you into a specific direction that they want you to go in. Whether that's a leader of a thought leader, a leader of a large corporation, you could be the top writer at the New York Post, you could be the top director at Apple, you know what I mean? And they push you into that direction and kind of, tell you where to go and kind of what to do. I mean, Charlie Kirk was in the GATE program. Okay, yeah. His entire life was essentially a giant type of, Truman Show, the way that Candace Owens puts it. And he started kind of realizing that. He started realizing that he was kind of pushed in this direction to do this from a very young age. And that's what I believe that the ultimate goal is. And some of those kind of branch off of that, like I was talking about with the psychic ability stuff. And but I think that the ultimate goal is recruitment, working for the military, the 3-letter organizations, top positions of power within our communities. And the thing about it is that you don't even know.
Hey guys, unfortunately, life insurance is a big part of this journey, and that's why I want to tell you about our good friends at Ethos. They are the best at finding the best life insurance policy possible for you and your needs. Let me tell you about Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exams. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage, okay? Some policies are as low as $30 a month. Ethos has a 4.8 of 5-star on Trustpilot and over 3,000 reviews. So here's what we need you to do. Help protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/tinfoil. That is ethos.com/tinfoil. tinfoil. Application times and rates may vary, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. Listen, if you want to look good, you got to have a nice pair of pants on. There's no better pants out there than our good friends at Jack Archer, okay? You want quality pants? You want them fast? You want them right? There's no better place than Jack Archer. Let me tell you about Jack Archer. Ordering pants online can feel like gambling. Will they fit? Won't they fit? Will they look the same after a few hours? Finding a pair that works shouldn't require all that guesswork.
Jack Archer's Jet Setter Tech Pant is the everyday pant made to look polished, feel comfortable, and work across every part of your body. Instead of needing different pants for work, travel, and weekends, the Jet Setter Tech Pant is designed to do more with one pair. Built for the office, the golf course, date nights, and everything in between. Made with flexible fabric, you can stay comfortable and put together whether you're sitting at the desk, walking through an airport, or heading out to dinner. They're also wrinkle resistant, stain repellent, and machine washable, so you can spend less time worrying about your clothes and more time doing what you actually want to be doing. Pull them out of a suitcase and they're ready to wear. Spill coffee on them, you just wipe it off and you keep moving. The best part, they won't look saggy and worn out like other pants do. These pants hold their shape day after day, wash after wash. The Jet Setter Tech Pant has over 6,000 5-star reviews because it's exactly what guys are looking for. A comfortable, polished pant they reach for no matter what they're doing.
Right now, Jack Archer is offering our listeners 15% off your first order with promo code GetJack. Go to jackarcher.com, use the promo code GetJack for 15% off your first order and see why thousands of people have given the Jet Setter Tech Pants 5 stars. That's jackarcher.com, promo code GetJack for 15% off your first order. I love this idea, and I hope you do too. What I find really interesting about what you're saying, I find all of it interesting, but what stands out to me is this idea that like, we kind of see this with like these school shooters now, like with Tyler Robinson. Like, let's just say the official story isn't real. I believe it's not real. And that this kid is a patsy, right? Why him? Why did they pick him? What about him made them think that this would be the perfect guy to do it? And I just watched some video on Instagram about it's so crazy. They call it the golden age of serial killers, which is a really weird way to put it. But it's about how like in the 70s, there were just like 60s and 70s, there were just this explosion of serial killers happen.
Killing it.
Yeah. They're killing it, right? It's just this giant explosion. And you start going into like all their connections to the military, all their connections to the elites, all their connections, all these connections. And it's kind of crazy. Like, do we think that okay, let's just say the Gates program is looking for the next great psychic. Could they also be looking for the next great psychopath?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Johnny, you could probably try and look it up. I don't remember exactly what this was, but I remember hearing about it. It was this group of FBI agents that kind of infiltrated into a group and then tried to convince a guy to do, I think it was like a bomb or assassinate someone
so like
or kill someone.
It was like after 9/11.
Yeah, which time are we talking?
Yeah. Well, it was kind of recent. It was like in the last like 2 to 3 years it happened, and then they ended up arresting him when they were the ones that convinced him to actually go through.
Was it the synagogue plot? Is that what you're talking about? Against the Jewish center? Is that the one you're talking about?
It might have been. Yeah, but my point is that we have a history of the FBI doing this against people. They will literally infiltrate and convince you to do something, and then when you're actually getting ready to do it, then they arrest you. It's entrapment, and that's what I kind of feel like what happened with Tyler Robinson. I mean, there's so much to the Charlie Kirk stuff, and I don't really want to get too much on track here, but Charlie Kirk was in the GATE program, and you see how far he went up the ladder. I mean, he was running a multi-million-dollar corporation. So if you can get people into these positions of power within every segment of society, then you pretty much have everything under control. So you essentially have a bunch of sleeper agents all about everywhere in every part of society. Then you have everything under control. Right? And they don't even know it, but they've been programmed from a very young age on exactly what it is that they're supposed to do. And they do what they're told.
I mean, that's
unless you wake up, like kind of like what was happening with Charlie Kirk. I 100% believe toward the end he was realizing everything that had been going on.
Well, with that Tyler
that he had
Robinson,
been honeypotted.
Yeah, I mean that's stuff. And again, I've said before, it's like you kind of, they programmed Charlie Kirk. I think they 100% programmed Erica Kirk. I think she's a MK Ultra sex kid. I think all those women at the highest levels of power, they're all sex kittens. They're all programmed. They're all pushed into these positions to do this. And they've all been like, and they may not even know that a hidden hand has been pushing them. I mean, it's so fucking deep. It's maybe not even only just a Gates program, just based on your internet, what you do on the internet, based on what groups you're a part of in high school. They start identifying. It's like, why did they pick Mark Zuckerberg over any other person to hand this DARPA program to? Because Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, they all tested in a way that they knew they were crazy enough and they wouldn't question anything. They would just do what they were told.
Well, with the Tyler Robinson thing, it's with the Gate program where they do the frequencies. You go in there and they put you these headphones. It's supposed to be to seeing if you got hearing loss or whatever. Since when does the government care about your hearing? I think it's for frequencies to figure out what kid fucks with what frequency, and then that's when they figure out who's Tyler. Oh, this kid, when we put in this little frequency, he ended up listening to what we said, and that's how I think it gets the ball rolling on who's who.
I mean, you can go even to when you go to like a hypnotist show. Who gets hypnotized?
Yeah.
Who doesn't get hypnotized?
Yeah, that's fine.
Now just imagine the government doing that.
And you keep them on the burner list when you need them. Oh, we need someone. Oh,
Yeah, you did the chicken dance at a mentalist show.
Yeah, you're on.
That's so interesting, Sam, because I literally just went and saw a hypnotist show yesterday.
Oh, that's so crazy.
We
Did
knew
you get
that, right?
hypnotized?
We knew that, bro.
Yeah, I did. It was at the fair. Went to the fair. They had a hypnotist there, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go check that out."
And did you get hypnotized?
Oh, hell no, bro. I'm not going up there. But I just watched it, and it was very interesting. The way that she did it. And it was weird because whenever she said everyone go to sleep, it seemed like there was children up there. There was people from all ages. There was older women, children, teenagers, everything up there. And when she said go to sleep, literally all of them went to sleep at the exact same time, and they did not move. It was really strange. It was a really weird situation. Then she brought up a doll, and then she was like, everybody wake up. And then she had like this puppet, and she was like, keep your eyes on the doll. And then whenever she would move the doll, like everybody would dance simultaneously. And the way that she was moving the doll.
Now take that and expand it to the media, to propaganda. Like, no wonder nobody can get their head out of their asses. They're all hypnotized.
sheep.
It's crazy. They call us hackable animals. We really are hackable animals.
Yeah.
100%. So, and when you were talking about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and all these people, I believe that these people are the front people for the entire organization. So the military essentially develops something and then just hands it off to the face that they want to be of that company. And this has happened several times. So they'll essentially develop something for the military, and then whenever they want that thing for the military to hit public use, they'll then hire a face of that company, and then they'll give them the technology and say, oh, this is the public-facing version of this project that we've already created the military version for, but this is going to be the version for the public. And that's what's been done over and over again. That seems to be the case with the Monroe Institute as well. The different frequencies in the ears inducing some kind of out-of-body experience with Robert Monroe. It appears as if he's not the one that created that technology. He's not the one that created the hemisync. Somebody else created it. Probably Andrija Puharich created the technology and then gave it to Robert Monroe to create this public front-facing company called the Monroe Institute. That's speculation and that's theory, but I believe that there's a lot of evidence that points in that direction of a lot of these people not ever being the ones to create any of this technology. It's actually given to them by the government, by the military, by the CIA, and they are just the public face of that company.
Yeah, it's basically government cutouts. The government can't spy on us, but a private business can, right? Like these flock cameras. Now the whole thing is with the flock cameras is now I'm starting to feel like they're just a false front for people to get mad at flock, and then these other guys are about to come in. Starts with an A, I forget the name of it, but they're now getting set to set up shop. And so it's kind of like the government can't spy on you and but they can go to Google and ask for all your data and they can buy the data from Google. So technically they didn't spy on you. They just purchase your data.
It's funny because they own Google, so they're buying it from themselves.
Right, 100%. But everyone perceives it as a private company. And it's like the same thing with Facebook, the same thing with Twitter, the same thing with Google, the same thing with Amazon is a big government. It's just part of the government, but it's presented as a private business. And now these Polymarkets. Polymarket is a DARPA program. And that what yeah, go on, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Sam. I think so. I watched a video the other day of this guy that was saying that the flock cameras are actually connecting to the Bluetooth on your phone. So it's not only extracting photos and videos of people that are passing by, bystanders that might be walking by or driving by, but it's also extracting the data directly off of your phone as well. Could possibly be taking the data directly from Bluetooth off of your phone.
Turn your Bluetooth. Can I even turn the Bluetooth off?
Yeah.
It tells you it's off.
Turn the Bluetooth
it tells you it's off. When you turn your phone off, it's not really off either. They can still ping it.
Unbelievable. That's why I want to get a third phone.
You have
There's nothing on it. I tried doing a flip phone. It's impossible to text. You're like, beep, 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 beep.
Oh, it's the worst.
Beep, beep.
You guys don't remember T9?
Yeah, that's what it is, right? You have to A, B, C. I could type so fast, I swear, in the old days of that.
Yeah. You're just doing it. Now you're like, oh, this takes forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's really crazy. Like everything conspiracy theorists have been talking about is happening right now. And it's like, nobody's stopping it. It's just, nobody. It's just full throttle. We're seeing the craziest time ever. America is not going to look like it did 10 years ago. It's crazy. Anyways, I want to get back to psychics because I am one. And I just like to talk about my people, you know? So what do you know any of the process? So they pick you, they send you over here, and then they put you in these different programs. Like, is there any famous people out that you named a couple that you think were part of the Gates program? Like that and what they did? Like what are some examples? Do you have any?
Marilyn Manson.
Whoa.
He was to be recruited by the CIA. There's a few. See, the thing is if you made it through the program, if you made it through the entire Gate program, then you are probably in a position of power. You're probably a musician. You're a director. You're somebody that's really important in the upper echelon of society, or even maybe even the low tier, or the mid tier, the upper to mid tier echelon of society. So you don't really have a reason to come out and talk about the Gate program or what you went through in public school. But also Erica Kirk, she went to some fancy school in Arizona, I believe, called the Tesseract School. So I believe that several people have been through these types of programs. They just don't necessarily remember, and that's a big part of the entire process. Is some people's memories are they don't need to remember because they're carrying out their mission. Right? They're already doing what they were supposed to do from the very beginning. So there's really no reason for them to remember. So if you were to somehow rebel against that type of programming, and another interesting fact of this is a lot of the people that did not make it through the programs end up in some sort of drug induced they have really bad drug problems, they have really bad alcohol problems, they're basically have like a lot of issues at this very moment, right? Because they're kind of discarded and they can't really remember what happened to them. So all the information just kind of implodes upon itself. I mean, if you read the Monroe Institute Gateway document that was released by the CIA, it literally says that we can train people to go out into the universe and communicate with non-human intelligences and bring information back to give to us, so that we can figure out any kind of whatever information that the entities gave them, right? So if you're a child and you didn't really know what was happening, you were given some kind of hallucinogenic substance, you went in and had put on these headphones, weird frequencies, you get outside of your body, and then you start being on like a DMT, super hardcore psychedelic trip, and you start communicating with entities that you've never seen before or never heard of before. That's going to be pretty scary. I mean, I don't know if anyone has ever been unknowingly dosed with LSD, but that's a very scary process.
Yeah, that is a scary process. I know one guy that got acid and he didn't know it and he freaked out and we never saw him again.
Because it's scary when you know. Really? Well, it's scary when you take it knowingly. Imagine not knowing, you think you're really fucking freaking out.
Wait, a guy got dosed and then disappeared is what you're saying?
Well, he was on the road with a comedian. I'm not going to say the comic's name. And the comic slipped in acid and he freaked the fuck out. And he jumped off the bus. Like, the bus stopped, he got out and he jumped out and he was never seen again. I mean, people have heard that, but he left comedy. We never saw him again.
That's like that's worthy of a documentary. I mean, that's the craziest damn thing I've ever heard.
You've never heard of like students dosing teachers in their coffee and the teacher starts freaking out because it's a drop.
Did they disappear?
No, they didn't disappear. But
I've never heard of anyone dosing their.
I can't say I have
their teacher. Yeah,
I've heard
what
stories.
School did you go to?
No, not my school. I've heard stories like on YouTube where like so and so, yeah, and they real. They go into like psychosis. They really go crazy. You got to think about it. You think it's you. Instead, if someone just told you, "Hey, you took something," like you can be like, it's gonna go away. But when you think it's you, and shit starts looking weird, and you start going crazy, and you already got some mental issues, it'll fuck you up.
I'd like to give somebody that stuff that makes you see little people, that they have in China that we've been talking
mushrooms?
about. Yeah, that mushroom. All it does is just make you see little people, and they're trying to study it because it's a unique substance that just hits the see little people part of the brain and nothing else.
Yeah.
Like you're totally normal and sober, except you see little people
like
in your reality.
Or midgets.
Just little fellas running around, like kind of elfish, and they're baffled by it because it has no other psychoactive effects and it lasts for a couple of days.
Days?
Yeah, bro. No. Yeah, and they've been eating it and independent of culture too because they've discovered
and they do it in China, which means they probably try to eat those little people.
So what up?
They do say that was one of the reports that if you get it in your mouth, like it's just like you're chewing on a little fella.
Do you think
Yeah, I mean, like it's like a permanence to it, like even in your mouth, like if it's because people they put it in soup and they say, hey, you have to let this soup cook for like 15 minutes. Don't eat it right away, or you'll see little people. Oh. And some people eat it too early, and they end up eating little fellas. It's weird, dude. It's really weird.
You know what, Ryder? Something that you just talked about really resonated with a video we watched on Doom Scrolling. This one was bringing up all these, that weird crown tattoo that everyone gets. Have you seen it? Chris Rock has it. LeBron James has it. It's based on this one artist, and she somehow just brought it into like acting and stuff like this, and how we have all these actors that talk about people spirits take over them when they act, and and the question is like method acting. Like, is it method acting, or are you just allowing somebody to take over your body and you're doing a completely different thing? So it reminds me of these people probably were, I mean, like all these actors are like the children of the elites.
Is that the Johnny Depp thing we were talking about? Because that was my comment to that. I was like, well, when you do method, the idea is to be filled up you become a vessel.
Yes.
And he just lost himself and became Jack Sparrow or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that's who he is now.
Yeah.
He walks around acting like he's Jack Sparrow.
That was us talking about that.
Yeah, but we showed
No,
something.
but what I'm saying, I had this conversation. I'm not sure if it was with you, is what I mean.
Interesting.
The Jack Sparrow thing? Is that?
But like Harrison Ford, we talked about him, right? Like
okay.
So if you watch Harrison Ford, when he's not acting, he's kind of an empty vessel. He's like nothing like the characters he plays.
Oh yeah, because I said he can't fly a plane. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right. And he's been on shows with like magicians, and he's just like, not the guy.
Yeah, okay.
You expect him to have a little Han Solo.
No
in him?
charisma. Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
and you're like, is this what you were kind of talking about? These people are traumatized because we get sold on a story. Right? Oh, he's just a carpenter and he was working on something. And one of the casting directors like, you'd be great at that. And then all of a sudden he's the biggest actor in the world. Yeah. Like these crazy stories that make us all believe it's possible that people move to LA and they're hoping and they realize it's just it's a really controlled game. Right? The game is fixed.
It's the reason there are so many tens waiting tables around here.
Yeah, right. 100%. I mean, like I used to go to like this restaurant near my old house, and the waitresses were absolutely gorgeous. I'm like, why are you working?
You know it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I find what you're saying very interesting because you can apply that to almost everything. We talk about in sports where all these guys in the NBA league are all throwing out the Illuminati signs on court and stuff like that. And you're like, and I can't even do it because there's some retard out there that will fucking freeze frame it and say I'm Illuminati. But, it's like, it's.
Oh, you get that too, Sam? I get that all the time.
Are you getting by the same guy too? Is it?
It might be the same guy.
Is it the fittest flat earther?
You can't do this.
Oh boy, you did it.
Can't do this at all. Period. Which is actually a concentration. This is actually to keep you from being hypnotized. This is what this is for. This is what this does. This is to hold your concentration and to keep you from being hypnotized.
Oh, good to know, dude. Hey guys, do you have a business who's used the phone for customer support? And people are really getting tired of talking to people in call centers who don't understand their questions and can't answer it? Well, that's where our good friends at 11 Labs come in. That's right, 11 Labs.
11 Labs makes something called 11 Agents. It's not a chatbot, though. It's not like a phone tree, and it's not a demo that fails the second a real customer gets involved. 11 Agents by 11 Labs is a voice AI agent that can actually listen and understand and resolve queries and problems, not just route them to another human who has to get told the same information again. It can look up the accounts of the person calling, it can process their request, and it can escalate when it has to. And it's important to note, the voice always sounds like a human. The response time feels instant. It happens right away. There's not that long delay of like processing with low latency performance, and it runs 24/7 in over 30 languages.
So listen, if you run a business with any kind of customer operations, support, sales, or onboarding, you can start with a demo at 11labs.io/tinfoil. See what 11 agents can do for your specific workflow. Guided rollouts capacity is limited each quarter. So if you want to be one of the first companies with customer experience that people actually talk about in a good way, now is the time. 11labs.io/tinfoil. That is ELEVENLABS.io/tinfoil. and we thank them for sponsoring the show. Guys, real quick, I want you to go to samtripoli.com for my dates. This Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm in Miami. I'm in St. Petersburg for Joke World, Lawrence, and then I also have TrutherCon coming up in Dallas. I'm in Skankfest, closing out in Austin. We got more dates to come. And then we also got World War Debates coming, looking like it's Nashville. Then finally, check out chaostwins.com. But if you apply this to like sports, I mean, like, I'm sure they did LeBron. I'm sure they did a bunch of guys. They just see who pops, and whoever pops is the guy they control.
Yeah.
And then there's guys who came in that they thought was going to pop. They didn't pop. They kind of just move on from them. I mean, why wouldn't they do that in acting? If we've talked about Marilyn Manson, and that's a rock star, why wouldn't they do actors and athletes? And they get these guys really early.
Absolutely, they do. I mean, Beyonce, same way. I mean, she literally says that she gets possessed when she goes on stage by an entity that she calls Sasha Fierce. Wendy Williams, do you guys remember the Wendy Williams story?
No.
Where she just kind of freaked out during Halloween, and she acted like she saw something, like some kind of entity, like she like looked super shocked. You guys don't remember this? But anyway, she was talking about on her show, which was on mainstream television, how Beyonce wasn't, that her baby bump was fake.
Oh, yeah. Really, you remember when she sat down?
That shit looks fake.
Yeah, kind of like dimpled. Yeah, that was weird, dude. Yeah.
That was really weird. And then the story of the other chick that Jay-Z got pregnant and how she died, and suddenly
they had a baby.
And suddenly Beyonce had a baby.
Yeah.
And then you get into the Obama parents, Obama's kids, who's the real parents. And that freaks people the fuck out. But it's
if you watched Smile 2, the movie Smile 2, the way that the main character in Smile 2 is reacting is almost identical to the way that Wendy Williams was acting before she passed out on live television. It's almost identical. And the person in Smile 2 can't see what is actually in front of them, just like what it appears that Wendy Williams. Now they chalked up the Wendy Williams thing to like a heat stroke or whatever, but it felt very sudden, and she looked very shocked. So
where she's dressed like the Statue of Liberty, and then she just fell. She just kind of went and fell. And that was because that Wendy Williams. Now, if you don't know who Wendy Williams is, she's a very famous like radio host in the black circuit. She had a morning show, morning radio show, very big enough that she got a TV talk show out of it. And she was talking a lot of smack about a lot of people. And towards the end, this is it.
Is it playing?
There it is.
It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
Look at this.
See, she's like freaking out, like she just saw something.
Isn't that crazy?
Really strange.
What did they claim that was?
He said heat stroke. A heat stroke in a 70-degree studio.
Right.
Totally. Wow.
I was about to say it's Halloween. I don't know if it was Halloween, but it looked like it was like some Halloween.
I hope
theme.
it is Halloween.
Yeah, it's cold. I'm saying it's not even hot during Halloween. What I was trying to say, what heat stroke?
Did you guys ever watch any of those people that like they had this like weird heart attacks in public?
Oh, I hate those things.
And they would just see something flying around them, and then they would just croak.
I can't watch that shit. It disturbs me. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
what was the deal with that? I remember that. That just kind of disappeared. Yeah, that was happening for a while. That was going on for like a year, if I remember correctly.
You know what else has disappeared? The Tyler Robinson trial. Like, is it over?
No. They were in pre-trial.
But is that done?
Well, then this gets determined whether it'll go to actual trial.
But my question is, did they get to the conclusion of that?
No, September 1st. September 1st, they go back to court, and the judge rules if the trial, if it goes on to trial.
It's going to go to trial.
Of course
they've proven nothing, and it's just, they're just going to But it's just like that thing was everywhere. Now it's nowhere.
Like everything. It's quick in
It's
and
not.
out.
Yeah, the standard to go to trial though is not. They say that a good prosecutor can indict a potato. So it's like
It's crazy. But
They literally did not provide any more evidence than what we already had. Even they didn't show the screwdriver that was supposedly on the roof that had Tyler's DNA on it. They did not present that to the media. We weren't even able to see that. Everything that the state showed was everything that the public already had.
yeah,
There was nothing new.
yeah, it's really crazy. And just the gaslighting that went on with that. And like it was the greatest exposure of who's getting paid.
100%, dude. Like whenever they all came out and said that, oh yeah, the footage that was shown on day 5 was super HD, 100% clear footage of Tyler Robinson taking the shot. No, it wasn't. That was the exact same footage that was shown at day 2 of the preliminary hearing. It was just zoomed in and enhanced a little bit. That's what pissed me off so bad, because I literally took the time to listen and watch every single Tyler Robinson preliminary hearing video. I did a video on it every single day of it, and I was a day behind because some of them are like 8 hours long. They're very long preliminary hearing episodes. And I literally took the time and I was like, guys, like all you got to do to disprove everything that these paid influencer people are saying that happened is just watch the preliminary trial hearings. That's all you got to do. And you'll realize that there's no 4K HD footage of Tyler Robinson taking a shot.
And the 9/11ing of people's careers, like how does Jack Posobiec come back from that?
well,
After he just straight up lied to you.
A lot of what they're calling 4K, whatever, is I think they're using AI, and they're going to use AI to make these enhanced
100%.
videos. Yeah.
This is the new thing. AI will be used to convict people of crimes.
Because there have been versions of it passed around, and people are like, why is the one they're showing at trial not as clear as this one? And the ones that the police were putting out were enhanced by AI. That's why they don't.
And what software are they going to use for that?
Well,
though?
they're using AI now they say to capture, I can't believe we're still talking about this, but identify Nazis in photographs from way back. Like, I just saw a big story about that a couple of days ago, which is, I mean, come on, dude, really? Do you want us to believe that it's capable of resolving detail it's just not there? Do you know what I mean? It's inventing detail at that point based on other, images it's been trained on. But yeah, that's what's coming, I'm afraid.
But if you study this, going back to the Gates program, I mean, it is just your typical FBI like case where it's like they just get this poor soul and put him in a position and blame him for everything. And it's so crazy to me that people don't understand this is what the FBI does.
Ricky Schroeder said he's guilty, Sam. I'm sorry to tell you.
I mean, that was the craziest shit, dude. Just people putting all their credibility on something, and it's going to be it's going to be walked back the way it is, and then in 10 years and 20 years, all the information will come out about how this kid got fucked. And it's like crazy to me to watch. And it's just this kid, they identified him somehow. The transferee isn't even the same transferee in the picture that's doing all the that they interviewed. She wasn't even there live in the court. They had to do it somewhere else. She calls him Matt. She doesn't even call him Tyler.
That one time, yeah, that was weird. Hey, Ryder, what the footage that they keep saying, or some people keep saying, what are they even talking about? Is it just that original video that was shown again? Is that
okay? Yes, it's kind of confusing, but so on the end of day 1 of the preliminary hearing, the state wanted to present evidence to the court and to the media because there were several things that the objection to the defense could say. They could object to it being put into evidence. They could object to it being shown to the court, and then they can object to it being shown to the media, right? The judge made a distinction on 3 of those different levels. So what had happened at the end of day one is that the state wanted to put this evidence into the surveillance footage into evidence and let it be shown to the media and also be presented to the court. The defense objected because the footage had enhancements to it. It had zoomed in, and they had put little red circles over the footage because the footage is so far zoomed out that nobody can tell what's going on. So the state had to literally put circles around so that they can show the figure that's running across the roof, right? Because you can't make out who that person is. You definitely can't make out if it's Tyler Robinson or not because it's zoomed so far out. But then the judge said they can't show that enhanced footage because it's enhanced and it's zoomed in and there's circles with arrows. So they said you can show the footage, but you have to show the footage raw. You have to show the raw footage, not the enhanced, edited, zoomed in footage. So the state agreed, and then on the next day, on day 2, they came in and they showed that footage. Okay, and the judge asked the state if there's any footage within this that shows anybody firing a shot. The state says no.
Yeah.
There's no footage of anybody here firing a shot. So then they have Agent Hall up there, and they kind of walk through the footage. He claims that it's Tyler Robinson, though they can't really say definitively that it's Tyler Robinson. It's just a blob. It's just a shape running across the roof. They can't even prove that it's Tyler Robinson on the other footage that is even more clear because it's not clear. And then the state, after that footage was done, the state said, I would like to revisit later on in the preliminary trial if we can show the enhanced footage. Okay, now you got to remember that the enhanced footage and the raw footage are the exact same footage. There's absolutely no difference besides it's zoomed in with circles and maybe some arrows or whatever on it. There's no difference in the footage.
Right.
Okay, it's the exact same footage. So then at the end of day 5, when everything was wrapped up and the defense had gotten up there and talked with the ATF agent that said that Tyler Robinson's DNA was the most degraded on the rifle out of the 3 other people's DNA that was on the rifle.
And who else is on the rifle?
Tyler Robinson's dad and Lance Twiggs has been confirmed.
How is Lance Twiggs shit on there and he's got immunity? And this kid's it does it. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. The only thing that puts this kid there is Lance Twiggs. Lance Twiggs took a picture of the letter and then burnt it. Like, how can you, like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's so unbelievable and unreal. And anybody that thinks that Tyler Robinson really did this is living in a completely different reality. I mean,
it's unbelievable.
So at the end of day 5, they then decide, once they went through all this DNA, the defense literally spoke with this lady from the ATF for like 30 to 40 minutes, going over the DNA and how Tyler Robinson's DNA is the most degraded on the rifle. Yeah, it's there, but it's the most degraded. And it being the most degraded would mean that he did not handle the rifle that day or the day before, or ever shoot the rifle that day or the day before, or probably even the week before. The 2 people, Lance Twiggs' DNA is more valuable on the rifle than Tyler Robinson's DNA is. Okay, so then the state comes back to the judge and is like, okay, can we revisit that the footage that we wanted to introduce, but you said that we can only show the raw footage of. Can we reintroduce that to the court, the enhanced version of the same footage that we showed on day 2? And the judge agreed, but said that the footage can't be shown to the media because it's enhanced footage with circles and zoomed in and all of that. So only the court was able to see it. So then and that was the last thing that happened in the entire trial. And then TPUSA literally had all of their influencers there to come out after the trial was over and say that it was 4K Ultra HD footage, which they had to have known was the biggest lie in the world. All you got to do is watch the beginning of day 2 and then fast forward to the end of day 5, and you realize that it's the exact same footage, and we already saw the footage.
It's so funny that they can say suddenly they have 4K. when the cameras around aren't in 4K.
Yeah, it doesn't make
And it really makes you wonder, what are those cameras even there for? Like, what are we? The purpose of having a camera is to be like the camera on my house is better than this shit that they showed.
I guess maybe because it's so far away. You know, if it was something that happened in the foreground, probably it would be.
But this just reeks of this MK Ultra shit, dude. It's just.
And then the footage that they showed of Tyler Robinson apparently being close to UVU campus at around 12:30 p.m. is the people that ring camera footage that was kind of going around that said that it was Tyler Robinson's vehicle, which Agent Hall said that he identified that as Tyler Robinson's vehicle based on the wheels. You can't make out anything else but the wheels. Yeah, sure. I mean, Lance Twiggs couldn't even identify Tyler Robinson based on the footage that they was shown in the pre-recorded interview that he was given that gave him limited immunity for based upon that testimony. And but that ring camera footage, turns out that the witness that took the ring camera footage said that that it was a bald guy driving and 3 other people in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Who's that Brian Neff or whatever his name is? That is part TP USA. It looks exactly like him. I mean, exactly like him, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from the back, it looks exactly like him. You can see the kind of the front, and then he turns, but you can get it looks exactly like him. Not saying it is him, but it looks a lot like him, dude.
Would you say the ring camera?
And then he remembers everything. He remembers a lot of something, and then can't remember where he was on this day, this day, or this day.
Yeah. Is the ring camera better than the cameras on campus?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But Johnny's saying because it's far away. I doubt that my.
Well, I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. Like because it would. Why would you be? Like, what's that camera aimed at? Like the security camera. I mean, on campus. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it meant to observe?
And my favorite thing is people are like, why would they have a camera looking at the roof? You have a camera looking at everything, every inch of that thing.
I don't know.
Well,
no, I'm just asking. Was it there after they noticed him? They panned to. It's like a PTZ camera where you can like pan, tilt, zoom. Like,
no, I mean I don't. No, then they would. Let's just say that this is an honest organization and an honest campus. If they saw somebody on the roof, they would yell, "Somebody's on the roof!"
Well, a lot of the eyewitness accounts said that they saw someone completely different, though.
I mean, there's like if this was a proper trial, this would be over tomorrow. They'd be like, not guilty. I mean, there's nothing that literally says it's his guy outside of some transferee.
I have no doubt they're going to take him down for it.
Oh, he's going to get found guilty, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, because he's just
at the very least he's like a dummy, you know what I mean? Like not a dumb person, but like he's a distraction. Like
if you heard that story where the FBI set up this guy to be like a domestic terrorist, and they go, was it on this show that someone said this to us? Where they're like, hey man, just take a picture of under the bridge because we gotta make sure our boat can get under it. And then they're like, oh, he's taking pictures of the bridge to blow it up. They told him to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. That's the one I was mentioning earlier that I was trying to think of what that was. But yeah, that's like the whole setup, the entire thing. They just convince people to do something, and then when they're getting ready to do it, I personally don't believe that anybody fired a shot that day at all, period.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the person on the roof was a gunman.
Think it was a microphone?
I think he was a decoy. He's meant to take eyeballs over there to add.
That's what I'm trying to say. A decoy. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was my word that I couldn't grasp.
And then the state found a backpack that had a jacket and gloves in it, and then they didn't test it at all, and they just let it go.
And did they find out it was part of Charlie Kirk's security team?
That's what they said. But then there's new footage, new pictures that Candace Owens just released yesterday that shows that there's a glove in the backseat of the SUV that Charlie was transported into the hospital. Well, what looks like a glove, okay? A supposed glove.
That's hilarious.
Right, that's shoved into the side of the door in the back seat. A black glove, apparent black glove. Right?
Is the old man that said it was him in the beginning, is he even going to get questioned at all again since he's a pedophile?
In jail for
he's a pedophile. Yeah, is he done? That's it with him?
He's cooked.
And this way he can't talk to anybody.
And it was reported that he had told some people at the hospital that he was paid to say that. That he was being paid by somebody.
And that's why they hit him with a CP, because he probably was looking at CP, and that's why they picked him.
It's also the easiest way to kill you in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Johnny, that's a great point, dude. That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I bet you we could go for. I wish we could find out everybody that was in the Gates program and just see how many of these people blew up and who are giant names in our culture.
And there were like a shit ton of people in it, though, right, Ryder? Like a ton of people.
Millions of people.
Yeah.
And this just wasn't covering the United States. This is in other countries. We're doing this as well. It's been reported in Canada that this was happening. In the UK, it was happening. Australia is also happening. I mean, there are people right now that have reached out to me that have said that it's still happening to this very day, that it's still being going on. A gentleman that I know that lives in Vegas told me that his daughter came home one day and said that she had been being taken out of school for the past year and a half in a black van, and they would randomly go on these field trips with a small group of kids. And then she also told him that in the middle of the night, other kids that were a part of this program would sneak her out of her house, and they would go and secretly meet at night.
What the?
Okay. Got a problem with that. What the fuck?
And he said, as soon as I heard her say that, I immediately took her out of school and started homeschooling her.
Oh my God.
Hey, Ryder, what's your theory on Mall World? Do you think it got implanted on them? Johnny says he doesn't have those dreams. I guess a lot of people in the Gate program have this dream that they're in this mall world and it's empty. And they're just hanging out there, and they all claim that it's like the back rooms.
Yeah, it's this liminal space obsession that is of my generation.
Yeah, and they said it got implanted into their brain because somehow only the people in Gates, or a lot of them, claim to see this. Did you go down that rabbit hole?
I did a little bit. I looked into it a little bit, but there was just so much information that I had to put into the movie. I mean, the movie's almost 2 hours long as it is.
Nice.
And I couldn't really go any further with that, but I think that there's definitely something there. There's something interesting there. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It might be some kind of shared dream experience, because I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people that have been through the Gate program have had some sort of really weird and strange dream about being in a mall. So I think there's definitely something to it. I just couldn't include it in my movie because the first hour of the movie is basically the history of the entire Stargate remote viewing unit. I have Lynn Buchanan, he was a psychic remote viewer for the Stargate program. I have Angela Ford, she was a remote viewer for the Stargate program. And I have Dale Graff, he was the operations manager and director of the Stargate program. And then I have me, and we kind of go through the entire history. It's probably the most comprehensive version of the history of the Stargate project and how it came to be, and through all the name changes and all of the things that happened within the Stargate program. And that's around the first hour, and then the next hour is unpacking the Gate program stuff. And I have Walter Bosley in there. I have Katie Page, which she believed that she was in the Gate program, and then she was also in this other program called the Twilight Learners program, which was ran by Thomas H. Badinsky, which was worked out of Area 51 and then just randomly moved to Colorado to open up this biofeedback frequency center in Colorado, around Colorado University. And she had the actual tapes. She still had the tapes of the Twilight Learner program, and it's probably one of the only people that still has the tapes, and we play them, and she gets to listen to them inside of the documentary. And also have Jay Widener in there, and myself. So it's very dense with information in the movie, and it's you really got to be, paying attention to it to really absorb everything that's in there, because it's a really quick and fast moving history. But it was important for me to get the history correct, and it's all from official documents. All the information that I show in there is all from original declassified DIA, CIA, and Army intelligence documents.
Now, have you heard anything about how the only place they can't remote view is Antarctica?
That's the thing about remote viewing, is that a lot of the people that claim that they can remote view really aren't remote viewing.
What are they doing? Making up stuff?
They're just using their imagination.
How do you know if someone's a legit remote viewer? Like, have you met any personally?
Yeah. The people in my movie. Lynn Buchanan, Angela Ford, all trained by the military on how to remote view.
Have they told you some of the crazy things they remote viewed?
Yes, it's in the movie. Yeah, Angela Ford has been awarded several awards for finding missing fugitives and captured people in other countries.
Whoa. That's dope. That's crazy. Now, do you think they could remote view before, or do you think that they were trained by the military to do it?
I think that if you have a certain kind of gift from an early age, like you have some sort of, like Ingo Swann and other people that have claimed that they had out-of-body experiences since they were very young, because I believe that being outside of your body is the highest form of remote viewing. Right? So when you're outside of your body, you can essentially go anywhere and see anything in real time.
Astral projecting?
As it's happening. Sort of as astral projection, yeah. So you'd be taking your energy body outside of your physical body and going to view things and see things. So for people that that has happened to, and that's normally done through high amounts of trauma, and that's how the MK Ultra program is also connected in there, because they found out through the MK Ultra program that if you traumatize somebody enough, then they will leave their body. And when you leave your body and you disassociate, then you become psychic. There were several programs within MK Ultra that had to do with psychic abilities and development of psychic abilities. So that's kind of really where it first started, besides some funding from by the government to Duke University and some other Mind Science Foundation, and some other foundations that happened before the MK Ultra programs. But that's really what they discovered, and how you unlock it is through trauma. So we get all these, and then they just expanded that to big traumatic events that happens to everybody, like 9/11, COVID, all this stuff. And that's mass traumatization. This is everybody all at once at the exact same time. You uproot them, you get rid of the things that they would normally do on an everyday basis, and then you reprogram them.
Yes, that's happening right now. You can see
it's called psychic driving. This was started by Ewan Cameron in Canada at a place called Ravenscraig, where he would psychically drive. He would traumatize them and then put them in a room with an endless loop tape recorder. Now, if you took that to the next level, well, then you could just put a TV in there and give them a visual stimulus along with an audio stimulus on a repeated looped message. They're going to believe it. And then if you take that one step further, you can take that into a VR goggles. What happens if you traumatize someone, drug them, and then put VR goggles on them?
Yeah, I mean,
you're going to make them believe that whatever they saw within those VR goggles,
I've been saying that
real.
Forever, dude. These VR goggles, they're going to be able to 9/11 you over and over and over again, and it's going to look so real. You're going to get traumatized.
Well, think about it. Imagine the Charlie Kirk assassination on VR, because we all watched it, and they wanted us to watch it, because when they don't want something on there, they take it away.
That's what Twitter is a trauma deliverance system. I mean, I've never in my life seen so much snuff films, like just people dying. Like you were never And it's like, this is what the internet's done to us. If someone gets stabbed in Cincinnati, you think there's a chance you might get stabbed on your block, even though you live in LA or Sacramento or wherever. So now it's like all this external shit is now internalized. Stuff you'd never see before, never know about. Now all of a sudden, boom, it's right at your doorstep. And it's like, you're totally right, man. Let's blow up these 2 buildings, or actually 5 buildings. Let's blow up 5 buildings, and then get them to agree to us do a forever war in the Middle East. I mean, it's a giant magic trick.
And also, let me guess, you also don't believe in this is for the people that believe in the official narrative of the Tyler Robinson FBI slop story. Because I'm pretty sure that they probably don't believe in the official JFK story, right? They probably don't believe in the official 9/11 story, right? They probably don't believe in the official COVID story. That's been blown out of the water. But somehow they believe in the official FBI Tyler Robinson narrative. Make that make sense to me, Sam. Well, how does that work?
Well, because people are even the most. Listen, there's a difference between intelligent and smart. Okay, intelligent people understand how systems work, right? Smart is wisdom of experiences, right? Like, you could have a guy on the street who didn't even graduate high school that's smarter than some person at fucking Harvard because he knows how people work, you know, how operate. But these people don't. They only know conformity. They know how to conform to a system to thrive in the system. It's like what I say about Hollywood, and you know, it's like these system entertainers, right? Like they can thrive in a system, but once that system collapses, they can't perform anymore. They have no reach. So, you know, the point of that is just, well, where was I going with that? I just fucking lost that thought, dude. It's like disappeared in my head. But the point is that, you know, if you know,
people believing the
thank you, Johnny. It's like they don't realize the Vegas shooting story just collapsed. The RFK Jr. story just collapsed. The Finders, the fucking Odyssey Network, which is the craziest story. Like all these stories over the fucking Anthrax story collapses. The Russian collusion story collapses. The Hunter Biden laptop story collapses. And like they just don't learn from it. It's like everything. They're goldfish, dude. They only see what's in front of their face. They have no memory of what just happened. And it happens all the time. And then, dude, you've just nailed it with this trauma thing. They are just traumatizing us over and over and over and over again. Like even the story of like civil rights, they've traumatized people so much that they practice suicidal empathy. They would, you know, like you nailed it with that, Ryder. You nailed it. Like, The theory of hate in this country is 10 times more dangerous than actual crime, actual murder, actual violence, actual pedophilia, right? Like the way that they pushed the Me Too movement on, and they had every woman believing that they're just walking into a den of sexual assault. Everywhere they go, like, you know, oh, this guy touched my butt, and all of a sudden that guy's career's gone, and every woman is doing that. I mean, all they do now is go to the fucking internet and try to throw some guy under the bus. I was watching this one woman call out this one comic, and she said some crazy shit. She's like, and he was pushing them past their comfortability. Like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? What does that fucking mean? Like, we're so afraid from actually taking sex from somebody. Now it's just like you're being a meanie.
You've heard the new one?
What?
Digitally essayed. You can digitally essay someone, dude. Seriously, the girl's been running with that. I got digitally essayed. So if you can sexually harass them, which is fucked up for someone who's really been sexually assaulted to just someone said a rude message on Instagram.
Well, I mean, I have a friend who got a bunch of uncalled shit sent to her. So in that aspect, that's it's just harassment. Like, and I'm not like trying to make that as like it's not an important thing. But it's very traumatizing. I'm not trying to like minimalize it. That's the word I'm looking for. But it's like you're making up a new term, and then it's like crazy. It's like we're in crazy town, and it's all through the internet and social media. But you're totally right about the traumatization, and like you traumatize people enough, they'll do anything. Like they traumatize people enough to believe that grown men dressed like street hookers should be reading to kindergarten teachers to kids. They've traumatized people enough that they go biological men should compete against biological women in sports. And it makes no sense whatsoever. But that's all from traumatization. Man, it's all sorcery, dude.
100% it's all sorcery. And there was something that I wanted to bring up, and I just...
welcome to the party. Just drifts into the abyss.
Comes in, and then it goes immediately out. Yeah, I don't know. I just completely lost it.
Yeah, I think that when I don't know how much you podcast or around like editing equipment and all that. That's a dirty electricity. That is literally shish kebabbing your brain. And I meet so many people in this profession that happens to all the time. They're like, oh, what was my thought? It's like, yeah, dude, you're cooking your brain, dog.
I mean, you saw the athletes, even though in the World Cup, all the soccer players were actually wearing like non-Wi-Fi headphones, the ones you wear.
Yeah.
The wired ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be something behind that. They're not giving these players millions with contracts like that.
They've been saying pro athletes are now going to wired headphones.
That's what I'm saying. There's got to be something behind that. There's got to be something behind that. When they got the money for the best wireless headphones, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I switched back to wired for especially like because I find myself occasionally falling asleep with those fucking and I'm like, I can't do that.
Not good, dude. Shish kebab.
Because think about it, on an airplane, like you sit there the whole time with those in because you they have the noise canceling. So yeah, I switched back to wired.
But even you bring up the World Cup, all the symbolism. Oh, it's like
you guys
crazy.
saw that video of supposedly Messi with that baby in.
Yeah,
I think that was all AI.
You don't think that happened?
What are the chances? The coincidence of that?
It's a coincidence. Yeah, well, it just tells you more that it's fixed than anything.
Or fixed, but to me, I'm like, how do we not know that's AI? Like, I mean,
people claim to remember it, right?
I mean, Mandela effect. I don't know. To me, it just seems like a crazy thing.
AI Mandela effect.
It's crazy for me to like, and then it just seems too perfect. Too perfect of the picture. He's a baby. It was a charity event. They both win.
It's a simulation, bro.
I could see it could be a simulation. I mean, but it's just like the opening ceremonies. Like, why is Shakira in everything? Like,
she looks damn good for her age.
Yeah, but you're telling me there's not a billion of those? Like, there's tons of those chicks that could do that? Like, she's in the opening ceremonies and the closing ceremonies?
It's 'cause she's
like,
Latin.
Have you ever seen that, Johnny, in your life? A performer in the opening ceremonies and the closing ceremonies?
I can't say I have. What do you mean the closing ceremony? What was that?
Or the halftime show?
The halftime show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't.
I've never seen that in my life.
The World Cup is weird.
Who is she?
Like Shakira?
No, I know who Shakira is, but why her? Why that shit? Like, you want to go into some MK Ultra shit? Here's this chick. Like, you're in the two biggest shows ever. Like, literally, those numbers are going to be so huge. They're going to push the numbers of biggest show ever. You're in the two biggest ones that are in the same tournament.
It doesn't make any sense. A parade of the brainwash. Like for the opening ceremony, it was Katy Perry. Like at the first game, it was just all anybody approved by FIFA is brainwashed for sure.
Well, FIFA is just straight up Illuminati shit, secret society stuff.
Yeah, they suck.
And like, dude, they just
money laundering.
Yeah, it's all money laundering. It's like, yeah, and all these athletes are programmed. It's very weird, dude. It's very weird. LeBron James for sure, MK Ultra, dude.
Oh, his son. Imagine his son.
Well, we're gonna see because LeBron. I guarantee LeBron doesn't want to retire because he knows some shit's about to pop off.
What do you mean?
Dude, something's gonna happen to that guy.
To LeBron?
To his
Son?
something. I think
What does
something's
that
gonna
mean?
happen.
What do you mean? Something bad?
I think there's some kind of like he's so deep into the occult. There's a sacrifice gonna be coming.
Shit.
Oh fuck.
That's my opinion, dude.
Well, that's the thing about Kobe Bryant too, is that
Yeah.
whole thing that happened. Like that's how a real person grieves the loss of their husband. You know what I mean? And the way that she reacted. In the Kobe Bryant funeral, we found out more about Kobe Bryant during her eulogy speech than people knew. What did we find out in Erica Kirk's eulogy speech about Charlie Kirk? We found out you need to donate money.
Yeah.
Go to our website and donate money. Buy our hats. Buy our shirts. She didn't say anything about Charlie.
Yeah, it's a weird reaction to it. It's just a weird reaction. Like, oh my God, my husband's been assassinated. Let's go get some Lululemon yoga pants. Like, and you can't say everyone reacts the same way, but like,
How did Jackie Kennedy act?
Well, she kept the clothes that she had on famously covered in blood or, speckled with blood on the flight back to D.C. When
pretty crazy.
Johnson was sworn in, she was still wearing her husband's blood.
well, Ryder doesn't think he died.
Well, that Stooge's blood, whoever it was that exploded all over her.
That was a squib.
brains. Yeah.
That's what some people. That's what
You know
Ryder
what's
said.
really interesting is that whole thing is really transferred over to the Charlie Kirk stuff.
So
Like people are saying that Charlie Kirk faked the entire thing and that it was a giant squib. That's why they're trying to. The TPUSA people are trying to say that the people should be bankrupted now by. That we should relate the Charlie Kirk assassination theories to the Sandy Hook assassination theories proposed by Alex Jones.
Well, there are some things where I go, did anyone really die? There was that famous shooting over here in LA at a country western bar. Do you remember that?
Do not.
And they showed they said, we have footage from inside the bar, and you hear, and there's nobody in the bar. There's nobody in the bar. And that gets into the nonlinear warfare stuff where both sides are going to argue. It keeps us from coming together.
Is there any way Candace can be taken
Well,
down?
and just let me say one
go
thing
ahead.
real quick. In the Vegas shooting, I was with a guy that got a call that their friend died.
Well, the people at the Vegas shooting said I had met someone that was actually there as well during like a conference, and it was like a spiritual conference a long time ago, like back in 2021 maybe. And she said that when it happened, she talked to the police officer. She was actually shot in the stomach.
Oh my
God. She was shot right in the stomach, and whenever she went to the police officers, the police officers had identified that there were up to 8 active shooters.
Yep, there were shootings all up the Vegas Boulevard. There's 911. There's 911 calls.
Right, because you're from Vegas. You must have known a couple people personally.
Dude, I had to do stand up in Vegas that week.
Ooh.
Imagine going in there and have to do comedy.
Yeah, it's like 9/11. Trying to do stand up at the summer
Yeah, you're like,
after
hey, you're going
9/11.
to New York this week.
Hey, what do you think Candace can be taken down how Alex Jones was for Sandy Hook? She's been talking about the same thing for months on months. Stress on the family. If they can take down Alex,
That's
is there
a
any way they can
great
take her down?
question, dude.
I don't think so because Candace isn't proposing that the entire thing was fake. Right.
Okay.
She's just saying that there's a
Yeah,
giant
you're right.
cover up. The other people are saying that they believe that it's fake. That the whole thing was. I had a comment on one of my Charlie Kirk videos the other day, and it was this very, very detailed explanation that Charlie Kirk was using some sort of simulation technology, and he really wasn't there, and that it was all a giant simulation. But
that's
there are
based off
people-
the chair, that weird chair that falls through the table.
And the camera being removed immediately like it was a projector. I've heard that too. Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Some straight up Obi-Wan, you're our only hope shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't you watch a hologram?
What?
Did you watch a hologram?
Oh, I saw the Michael Jackson thing in Vegas. Yeah, which is it's effective, but it's not something you could film like that from
government.
multiple
Well,
angles
but what about-
with iPhones and stuff.
But the question becomes this, right? Where's Charlie Kirk right now? Like, how do you go from being in the Truman Show to in Valhalla, New Zealand, and you're just hanging out in a...
The only way that's the case is if they told him, "Hey, man, you can die. Your whole family can die, or you can just go hide." And it's a threat. Like it's the only way.
And they
he
get
would
him what, like
accede to that, I
fucking
guess.
plastic surgery so he doesn't even look close?
But they don't have to. I've said it. You don't even need plastic surgery because if you say Jeffrey Epstein's alive right now, people think you're crazy. Like, dude, he's dead. Come on, there's a video of it.
Yeah, but
Charlie Kirk's dead. Even if it could
you
look
don't
just like
think
him.
he could walk out somewhere and someone goes, "That looks just like Charlie"?
No,
Kirk."
no,
He's
you-
a very distinctive looking fellow.
Yeah, but you would
got a
change it a
weird
little
hat.
bit. You would change it a little bit enough, but I don't think you would literally anybody would be like, well, look, his ID says this. It's government based. It looks like him, but it's not.
I think he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's dead. But if you really wanted to,
I just think sometimes it's easier just to off them. Think about everything they got to go
Every
through.
time it's easier to off.
All the loose, everything they got to go through to keep them alive.
It's always easier to kill.
You
them.
know,
and all the things that could go wrong within that, it's definitely easier to do it the real way than to. And I don't really understand what the point of faking it would be. And then if it was some kind of fake thing, I don't believe that Charlie Kirk would want to do that because that 100% proves that an innocent man is going to be held accountable for this. And I don't believe that that's up
a
to
great
Charlie's
point.
integrity. Charlie would not let an innocent person go down for his murder.
I agree with that. I agree that that would really make it look fake. Now, you have put out a doc on the JFK being a fake assassination. Let me just say something about that. After these Donald Trump fake assassination attempts, I'm open-minded to anything when it comes to, because now I'm starting to think that the Reagan assassination attempt could be total bullshit. You know, because it gets everyone behind Reagan, patriotism. Hinckley goes to jail, goes to a mental facility. He's now out touring, playing his music at Coffee Beans or wherever the fuck he is. You know, does it make any fucking sense at all?
It really doesn't. And I 100% believe that JFK was 100% a ritual sacrifice. And what a lot
You
of
think
people
you think he died?
Dude, there's so much evidence that points in the opposite direction. Like Officer J.D. Tippit also being killed that exact same day that looks identical to JFK. He looks so much like JFK that
They called
his
him.
nickname on the Dallas police force was JFK. And guess what? He was shot in the back of the head and in the back. Okay? And JFK's autopsy photos show a shot to the back of the head and the back. But we don't see
the
in the
throat
Zapruder
shot.
film. We don't see in the Zapruder film him getting shot to the back of the head. But the autopsy photos that were released show a shot to the back of the head. So J.D.
I'm
Tippit
open-minded
was
to all
shot
the.
shot in the back of the head, and this was pinned on Oswald. That's the whole reason that Oswald was ever even arrested in the first place. He was arrested for shooting and killing the Dallas police officer that looks exactly like JFK in the back of the head and in the back. When they take him to the press release, they say, oh, hey, he says, I've been arrested for supposedly killing a police officer. Okay? He didn't even know the president had been shot, but he killed someone that looked identical to the president with a nickname of JFK. So that's the ritual magic aspect of this.
I'm open-minded
If it was
to
faked, if it was faked, then they were able to still pull it off because they had somebody that took JFK's place that looked identical to JFK. That's how they were able to get away with it, because it was ritual magic, right? They did kill somebody that looked like JFK, that had the nickname of JFK. So therefore they were able to play it off and be like, oh, JFK was shot and killed. That's the magical aspect of this. And I think that he was the only one that was shot and killed that day. And then the public pinned the assassination of JFK onto Oswald, and then he was shot and killed by Jack Ruby, which was an MK Ultra victim. Jack Ruby even said during his press release after he was arrested that he's the only one that knows why he did any of that. And it's going to that he's the sole. And then he gets a visit from Sidney Gottlieb that dosed him with LSD, and then he starts talking about that the freaking fairies made him, and the elves had made him kill Oswald.
Where'd JFK go? You think?
Is he Jimmy Carter? Was he Jimmy Carter?
Oh, we're going flat Earth researcher on it. Fitness flat earther. Are we going fitness flat earther on it? Jackie Kennedy got married to Onassis, and there was tabloids around that time that was saying that JFK had been spotted on Onassis's island. So it's a possibility that he. And another thing that's strange is that JFK's where he was buried in Arlington Cemetery was randomly dug up in the middle of the night. And then they just moved him over a couple of feet. They didn't tell anybody that they were digging up his body. They dug it up in the middle of the night, and then they moved it over.
That's odd.
A couple of feet. Okay. So, and also JFK had an autoimmune disorder that gave him really bad back trouble. So, yeah, there you go. And that could have been the reason why they dug up his body randomly. And we don't even know where Charlie Kirk is buried. They've not released that information. We don't know where he's
Charlie Kirk buried?
Nobody knows.
That's the same thing with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah.
You remember, we're not going to tell you where he's buried. Why?
I get Epstein maybe because you don't want weirdos showing up, but
you don't think weirdos?
Kirk, why wouldn't people? I mean, that's a guy that a lot of people celebrate.
We never saw a funeral. That's a weird thing. A lot of these high impact events, you don't see funerals. Can you look up if Jews have funerals?
Because I'm surprised they didn't vlog that.
The reason I say that,
they don't sit Shiva, for.
Well, they do.
They sit up they do it in the South too, but they go. Everybody meets and mourns together in a house for a while. You've never seen that?
I just. I think some of this stuff's fake, some of it's real. You remember the two Israelis they killed outside of the Holocaust Museum that was closed. Why were they there? It was closed for an hour or something. You never heard anything about it again.
The one thing with the Reagan thing, James Brady's hard to explain away, right?
Yeah, but I do think that guy, that fireman that died at the Trump assassination really died. They don't care about that.
Right, but James Brady was right next to him.
Yeah, dude. It is 100% part of the magic trick. Something really has to happen so people buy it. But the really important players never really get taken out. Especially, or maybe if we think Jeffrey Epstein faked his death, why anything's on the table. I just think with the Charlie Kirk thing, it's just way easier to off him. Unless he's in Israel right now.
Yeah,
getting some giant like plastic surgery done on that huge skull of his. They're shaving it down.
Give him a new hairline.
Yeah.
Going to Turkey, getting.
Then some guy comes in out of nowhere, speaks fluent Hebrew, Yiddish.
Yeah.
And just, you're like, that kind of looks like Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirkestein. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirkestein. Yeah.
Well, the thing is about it that makes me believe that the Charlie Kirk assassination was 100% real is that there was nobody to replace his body. With JFK, it's different. There was a person that looked identical to JFK that was called JFK that could have been switched out. I mean, even the most prolific JFK researchers will tell you that the body that was autopsied was not JFK's body. They also believe that his body was switched out at some point on Air Force One when his body was taken from Dallas. Okay, so with the Charlie Kirk thing, there's who took his place? There had to have been a body. Now, I definitely, this is just my personal opinion, which I kind of put this timeline together a couple of weeks ago, was from the time that Charlie Kirk died to the time that the Erica Kirk posted the photos of him in the casket. Do you guys remember that?
Was so creepy, dude, with her Freemason ring on or whatever that ring was.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that was only 2 days after he'd been assassinated. 2 days, his body had already been apparently autopsied,
bombed, yeah,
and bombed, put into a casket, and ready to be buried.
Yeah.
Okay, which is unbelievably fast and unbelievably quick. And it kind of turns out that it was even faster than that. That photo was actually taken on the 11th, and it was just posted on the 12th. So, and whenever her hand is on Charlie's hand in the casket, his hands look like porcelain hands. Like, I've been to a lot of open caskets, and I don't ever believe the coroner or the embalmer ever putting porcelain hands on a body.
It definitely looked weird, dude. It definitely looked weird, for sure.
And her hands were bigger than his hands. Charlie, I believe, was either 6'4", 6'5". I'm 6'5", right? And her hands were bigger than Charlie's hands. So they had to either shrink by a lot in death, which sometimes that does happen, apparently, whenever you die. You do shrink a little bit, but I don't know if it's that big enough for someone to their hands to shrink significantly smaller than a person that is less than 6'5". So I don't know if that was Charlie's body. That kind of seems like maybe it was like a mannequin body that was there at the funeral home in Utah. As like a placeholder so that she could go in and get her social media pictures really quickly. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a crazy thing, and it's crazy to me because they didn't want Charlie Kirk to go off reservation and go away from Israel, but they've destroyed that brand. That brand it's always going to go because it has unlimited money. The people who print the money are funding money to TPUSA, but it's got no reach anymore. Like, nobody takes it serious. I mean, and it's really weird how Zionism is just destroying these two parties, Democrats and Republicans. It's really crancy. Well, today,
I don't think that the same tactics work anymore, Sam. I think that they're kind of the thing that worked before no longer works anymore, because you can't just go out and create lies about things and expect people to believe it, because everything's on the internet now. You can go and watch the Charlie Kirk preliminary trial. It's all free on YouTube, and you can see that there's no HD footage of Tyler Robinson firing a shot at Charlie Kirk. You can't lie anymore like that. Now, the thing about it, unless you want to look like a fool, which these people have absolutely no care in the world because they're paid to do it. They're paid to look like a fool. And then people will forget about that in a couple of days, just like they seem to forget about everything else. They can't remember what happened yesterday or last week or the month before. You can't remember that state of Utah, the governor of Utah, right after the Charlie Kirk assassination, said that the shooter got on the roof and changed clothes, took the shot, and then changed clothes again. And then whenever we get to see the footage in court, you don't see him change clothes.
Yeah.
You know, and then how did Tyler Robinson put the gun back together in the woods when he left the screwdriver on the roof?
That's so weird.
Yeah, great question. And why is he put on the scope backwards?
There you go. So these things, they just don't work anymore because people have all the access to all the, like smart and critical people have access to all the information right at their fingertips, and they can go back and verify and fact check. So they get like a little bit of a boost in the very beginning, you know, saying that, and then they get on all these shows and they're like, oh yeah, we saw the 4K HD footage. And then within a couple of hours, when people have watched the entire stuff, they get on there, and then you get all these community notes on X saying that that's not true, that that's not factual, and anybody that's watched it can tell that it's not true or not factual. So they either got to switch up the way that they've been operating for decades, because that's been the thing to do for a really long time, is to just lie straight to the American people, straight to their faces. And if you put enough money behind it and enough people say that lie over and over and over again, then it becomes established truth. But they can no longer do that anymore.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Say a lie enough, people will believe it. And I feel like the Vegas shooting was the first time that everyone, their story fell completely apart, like instantly. And they've been, so what I think they've done is they realize they can't control it, so now they flood it with misinformation, just pollute the fucking well. And now that's not even working. And I don't know what Candace is. You know, I think she's doing great reporting on this, but I don't know how she's allowed to do what she's doing. I mean, every conspiracy theorist is like, they're going to kill me for what I'm saying. I'm not suicidal, right? They'll say that. I'm not suicidal. Like Candace Owens is poking the bear.
Yeah, I have a private chef at my house if I was her.
Yeah, I would too, dude. All right, Ryder. Great. One more time, tell them about your doc, when you think it's going to drop, and where they can find it.
Yes, Psychic Agent, the GATE program, will hopefully be available by August 1st. If it's not available by August 1st, keep checking. It has been picked up for distribution on Amazon Prime. So if it's not out within a week, check back in 2 weeks. If it's not out in 2 weeks, check back in 3 weeks. But if you actually 100% really want to see it, you can buy a DVD copy from me of the movie. Just email me at raisedbygiants@outlook.com and I'll get you a DVD copy. I just made these because I didn't know when the movie was going to come out. So if people are interested, and they still do.
People are buying hard DVDs now again. People want to own stuff.
Yeah, physical media. The PlayStation is getting rid of physical copies.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, so grab your copy of Psychic Agent, the GATE program on DVD. I'll ship it to you anywhere within the United States, but if you're outside of the country, you probably won't want to get it because it's going to cost me more to ship it than what you're going to pay for it. So can't really lose money. They're already kind of expensive.
Come travel to America, buy it, then take it home.
Exactly. That's the best way to do it. And if people are interested, they can find me on YouTube at Raised by Giants, any and all podcast platforms, Instagram at Raised by Giants Pod, X at Raised by Giants 8. And thank you guys very much for having me
Anytime,
on.
Ryder.
Really appreciate it.
Great
It was
job.
a really fun time, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thanks
We
for having
loved
me.
it. Thanks for coming on. We'll do it again soon. Let's break down the episode. All right, what'd you guys think of Ryder Lee?
It's our guy.
That's our guy.
Yeah.
I love, he's got some great movies coming out. And like that Gates program is an endless Gate program is an endless well of chaos.
You think you would have been in GATE if this was a
Well, they messed up because I am psychic and because I'm stupid. They didn't realize it. I could have been like a lead singer of some band. But nope, because I wasn't a good reader. They couldn't let me in their little group.
Okay.
Because I'm bad with math.
Dude, imagine if you would have followed the lead and you would have been
I could have
Charlie
been Doctor
Kirk.
Strange by now.
Or Charlie Kirk.
I can do that psychic test on you with the cards. You want to do that?
No, I
Let's
don't
see
want
if
to
you-
do
yeah, I
that. That's
bet
not
you
my
don't.
psychic abilities,
Yeah.
fuck nuts.
Sam doesn't work good under pressure either.
Yeah, thank you. Tell that to all the women I've hooked up with.
I don't know quite what that means, but okay. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
And you saying you did badly with those? women?
It's called a joke, Johnny.
Right, but I don't know which angle the joke is coming
The
from.
joke is on me.
Like you, no, okay. I don't want to say sure if you were saying you wreck puss or if
I
you,
wreck puss, but I also, it's a joke that I'm not good in
I
bed.
understand.
That's the
Okay.
joke.
I got it. I couldn't tell if the joke.
It's always
was you
fun to
wreck puss.
break your jokes down, Johnny. That's still a whole
Well, it's-
podcast.
maybe
where I
don't-
just do jokes and you just try to break them down.
Maybe don't tell jokes that need to be broken down. That'd be my vote.
Okay, all right. He knew. He laughed. He knew what I was
Yeah,
talking
but he
about.
wasn't sure either. He was
Yeah, he was.
assuming
You
that.
knew exactly what I was talking about. Under pressure, dog.
Under pressure.
Johnny drank pink drink. What did it taste
well,
like?
I don't think I swallowed. It was bubblegum flavored.
Oh, dude, that's even more evil. Make it something they want to drink.
I don't think it was associated with that though. I think it was just fluoride shit, as I recall. It's possible that there was some other. Yeah, I don't- people have very. I don't have the same memories that other people do. I do remember going to another place and being picked up in a limousine.
They say if you remember less, you got molested more. Is that true, Johnny?
I was going to ask him, has he interviewed a teacher? Like a teacher that participated in, because
I don't think those people come out. They're like, yeah, we were part of this giant MK Ultra thing. with kids.
I know the agents. Let's call it the agents that come in to do the gate program. But I'm talking about your teacher, your kindergarten teacher that was there for the whole year because she wasn't part of it.
They must know about it, though, right?
They must at least remember, like, oh yeah,
they pull kids out of class and get them caught back up. You would assume. I mean, I remember the lady that taught us in that AG shit, which I think was related to that, Miss Voss, and my best friend was also in it, and we were playing chess because that's all I remember doing is playing chess and stupid shit like that, and. I don't think this is the same as the testing and all that. I think this was something else. But she would, me and my friend were friends, so we talk shit to each other.
We're friends. Be my friend.
I beat him in chess, and I told him, I'm like, oh, you're really dumb. And she got so mad at me. 'Cause he's my best friend. We talk shit to each other, you know? And she came over and took her ring of her hand and just ground it into my fucking head, dude. And she's like, you don't say that to... And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, they used to beat the shit out of us.
She was like one of those old
And we were
ladies.
better people for it.
Maybe.
Johnny, I think you've just convinced me to spank my kids.
I mean, they were still, the last year they did that shit was when I was in kindergarten. I remember my kindergarten teacher used to whip this boy's ass once a week. Maurice Wall, she would pull him into the bathroom and you could just hear him getting his ass beat.
What prison is Maurice in now?
Yeah, I don't know.
dude, I used to be left at like my friend's house or my cousin's house, and my mom would be like, "You can hit him if you want."
Yeah.
While leaving, she's literally like leaving me. And
Well,
she's like,
she
if he
wanted you to hear that too.
Yeah, she's like, if he misbehaves, you can go ham. Now
his
I
ass.
can't imagine a parent saying that to another parent. Hey, if little Junior don't want to, you can go ham on him.
I'll do that to my. I'm like, you want me to start spanking people? No. Okay, then listen.
Yeah, my nephew's funny about it because they spank him, but he the only threat is really, we're going to make your dad do it. And then he's like, okay, never mind. 'Cause I guess he gets a proper swat. My mom, his sister.
Dana was
His
in love
mother,
with
my sister.
your nephew's accent. She's like, listen to his
That's
accent.
how I used to sound
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Yeah.
And now you come back to go, why you talk like a queer?
See,
They were like, why? What happened? Yeah, there was that. I like gaslit my parents. I'm like, this is just how I talk now. I went away to like camp. We talked about this.
If
Right?
I thought you were gay, like, oh, Johnny came out with no
Johnny, did
accent.
they touch you at camp?
No, it wasn't camp. It was this like leadership conference, and it was with a bunch of kind of upper set New York, DC people, intellectual types, and they all
Okay.
talked a certain way. So I just picked it up over those weeks I was there, and when I came back, it was just
Like, what's up with your voice? You're like,
weird. I'm just. This
"Mother,
is a non-regional
I proper
dialect.
speak English.
I'm a proper boy now.
Yes. Guys, if you go to samtripoli.com, you can check out all my dates. Miami this week. Then Joke World, St. Petersburg, Lawrence, Kansas. And then I also have Tulsa. I also have TrutherCon in Dallas. I have I forgot. Did I forget to say Joke World? No, I said that. TrutherCon, Skankfest in Austin. Check out World War Debate. Check out, go down, join my mailing list, please join it. You'll find out where I am, what I'm doing, what episodes I have coming out. Sam Tripoli's got everything. Go check out t-shirts at tinfoil@t-shirts.com. Check out all my
you got a new Kurt? Oh, you got a new Kurt and Sam experiment.
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking funny, dude.
Just the name Orgasm Inc. Incorporated.
I used to work there.
Yeah, dude. The premium content's top shelf. You'll never get better premium content than mine. Cash Daddies, Johnny.
Yeah, Cash Daddies, you want to prepare for retirement, save some money, profit on the stock market like Wall Street boss, then
Get in the game,
go to
bro.
patreon.com/Cash Daddies.
Okay, we got t-shirts at tinfoil@t-shirts.com. Great way to support the show. We also have Chaos Twins about to come. I'm just telling you that because we're about to launch a campaign. We need your help. And then you go to our affiliate program. I'm telling you, these are who you need. Buy gold and silver at WiseWolf, AquaCure, hydrogen brown gas, and chemical-free body, EMF rocks, Brain Supreme if you want microdose. And it's all there.
Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. We're replying to all of them. We're trying to.
Don't be an asshole, though, please.
Yeah.
Broken Sim, check it out. It's audio. Leave a 5-star review, and we will follow you back on Twitter at Broken Sim on Twitter.
Word War Debate is coming. And then finally, youtube.com/tinfoilhatofficial. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. And yeah, dude, I thought it was great. I mean, we got really deep in that JFK shit, huh? I mean,
yeah, I still don't know if it's again that same premise. Like, what the fuck is JFK doing with the rest of his life after being the most powerful man on the planet?
yeah, where's he go? What does he do? Do they feed him more bitches?
Right. Yeah.
That's the only way to keep him quiet.
Yeah, it's like, listen, just shut up. Here's a harem. You can hit it anytime.
You've heard of the theory that supposedly the Charlie Kirk assassination is bigger than JFK. That's
bigger.
not.
What do you mean bigger?
Like impact?
Candace says that it's bigger, that it impacted more of the shot.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever
I would
heard.
say that's not even close,
She says that? It's more impactful?
What do you think was bigger, 9/11 or Charlie Kirk?
I mean,
9/11.
Okay. JFK was the 9/11 of that day. It was like the entire nation just stopped. And it was before we were all divided and we all got the same news. We all thought the same and we all reacted the same.
People believed the government. It's before Nixon breached the faith, of the people. People believed that government in large numbers anyway.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I think Charlie Kirk was traumatizing, but I don't think it was to the level of
there
JFK,
wasn't like
9/11.
You knew his whole. We only knew Erica Kirk after all this shit. Like everybody knew all of his family, his son, his wife. It was in a monoculture time or a more monoculture
great
time.
way to put it, monoculture.
Yeah, it was.
We were all getting the same info. Like there was only so many news. There's only so many channels. We were all getting the same info.
I love those old news clips, but I took in college in journalism
nice,
school.
Johnny.
There was this class where we watched a lot of the old newsreels and the old footage of Cronkite and those guys, and like it's just a desk, like that's why they sit at a desk now, because it was supposed to be like a newsroom, a news desk.
Yeah.
And there's a phone there, like an old timey phone that would ring sometimes. With like, what's that? What's that? What are you saying? He's been shot, and that would, you just answer the phone in the middle of it was crazy, bro. Like shuffling papers around that they actually wrote on, not like fake papers or pre-printed shit that they all have now with like scripts and stuff. Guys got the glasses around the neck. It was all real, man. It was all, there was way less pretense, even though it was more. I struggle with.
I struggle.
Well, do you think it was better news because it was before the news went for profit and got polluted by that, but there was less diversity of opinion?
I think back then there was still a lot of propaganda, but I feel like there were more people willing to call out authority back then, and now that's all gone.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Yeah, I think so.
It's all conformity. It's all rich kids just trying to get access to power and money.
We know they were speaking some truth to power because of what was revealed in the FBI files. They were tracking some of these journalists and stuff too. So there had to be something that they were worried about. If they were just paid to be
More Nazis.
Yep.
More Nazi shit. It's crazy, dude. All right, guys.